I'm Dan Shinder with Drum Talk TV, and I am taking you on a taiko drumming travel adventure on Sado Island in the Sea of Japan. Our trip to Earth Celebration on Sado Island in the Sea of Japan began at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. We arrived in Tokyo the evening before we were to leave for Sado Island, a small island in the shape of a butterfly. You may wonder, what is there to do on a small island shaped like a butterfly in the Sea of Japan? Well, let's see. There's Earth Celebration Festival featuring Kodo. You'll see amazing performances, learn all about their drums, and see interviews with members of Kodo.
And then would go to the fields where they would then grow and take care of rice.
自分たちで料理をして
Then cook.
Okay, now wait. I have to ask. During this time, were you thinking, where's the drumming? When are we gonna get to play
でこの
drums?
時に
And as well, they're like, why are we waking up at 5 in the morning, running so much?
To play drums!
To play drums.
There's the food. There's arts and crafts of all kinds. And clothes. And Kodo. With guests from South Korea. And sake. And a barrel boat ride, actually known as Tarai Bune. And theater. Did I mention sake? Breathtaking scenery. The pageantry of Kodo. There's a lot. So come along with us on this Drum Talk TV adventure to Earth Celebration Festival on Sado Island, featuring Kodo. Alright, back to Tokyo for now. We'll get to Sado Island, don't worry. I will never forget that first bus ride from Haneda Airport to our hotel. This is Japan, I kept saying to myself as we watched the variety of architecture pass by. I had wanted to go to Japan since I was in 4th grade. This was nowhere near sinking in yet that we were actually there. We stayed at the beautiful Hotel&Residence Roppongi. By the time we got there, cleaned up and changed clothes, we made it downstairs to Kokonoma restaurant just in time for dinner, and I mean just in time. My wife Inja and I are both foodies. I even had a cooking show on TV years ago. I tell you this to preface my next claim, which is this. The dinner we had was the absolute best meal we ever enjoyed anywhere. The ambiance was elegant and cozy, the service was impeccable, and the food, I really don't even have the words for it. As our first meal in Japan, it set the bar way up there. We had Wagyu steak with Japanese sauce and wasabi. Absolutely the best steak we ever had anywhere on this planet. We also had a mixed green salad with onion sauce, miso soup, and for dessert, yes, I cheated, I had gâteau au chocolat, and Enja had baked cheesecake. Are you kidding me? We had a great night's sleep and had to get up early to be picked up by Ruthie Jarman and her team from Jarman International. The folks were the best in Japan at tourism, in my opinion, and many others. We took a taxi to Tokyo Station to catch a train to Niigata. I hadn't been on a train in a very long time. We were cruising for 2 hours at as much as 275 kilometers per hour or 170 miles per hour. We watched as the architecture and landscape changed with the miles. This is Japan, I kept saying to myself. I could hardly believe it. It was already an enchanting place. Now this. Once in Niigata, we took the foil ferry to Sado Island. What a beautiful ride. Then we took a taxi all the way the length of the island to our hotel. The drivers there show the respect and have attention to detail like they're the concierge at a 5-star hotel. This driver, without even us asking, pulled over at the seaside for us to take this amazing panoramic view. It seems as though we were just in Tokyo, and now we're passing through a seaside colonial agricultural area. Just breathtaking. Then we continued to our hotel, Ogo no Yu, which was about a mile walk from Ogi Minato Port Park, where the Earth celebration was going to be held the following day. The front desk of this deliciously quaint hotel was primarily staffed by two young men, who I believe were brothers, and I feel terrible that I can't recall their names or even have a photo. We had a room facing east into the Sea of Japan, and every morning it was just breathtaking. By the time we were ready for dinner, we realized the hotel didn't serve dinner. That's okay, we were up to an adventure. We ended up at the Izakaya restaurant. We had a Japanese map and GPS on the phone. I'm great with maps, but could not find this particular restaurant that I saw on the map. We saw a guy, now it's dark, and we saw a guy walking, and I thought I'd take a chance. I showed him the map. Who knows who this guy was, right? But I showed him the map and pointed to where we were headed. For some reason, I felt we were totally safe. He spoke almost no English, and I speak almost no Japanese. He led us to a street, down an alley, down another street, and then pointed down another dark street. We thanked him as we parted. We went down the street and found the place, and it was locked. They were closed. We walked back to where the guy left us. I looked around and saw another light glowing down the street, matched it up with another place on the map, and so we walked. We got there, walked in, and guess who was there? The guy! Another picture I can't find, or name I can't remember. We laughed about it and then saw him on and off throughout the whole time we were there as he was working the Earth Celebration event. The food at the restaurant was great. It was truly as mom and pop as it gets, and I mean that in a very good way. Get to Kodo playing soon, don't worry. It's a new day and I love tropical weather. Look how my glasses fogged up just stepping out of our room and into the hallway of our hotel. We started the first real work day with an awesome Japanese breakfast. They had a Western option too, but what's the point of that? Every morning we had a variation of the same thing, but basically poached fish, salad, miso soup, rice, mustard with natto, fermented soybeans, igoniri, which is a seaweed jelly that is one of Sado's local dishes, ginger in a bowl with umiboshi, or pickled plum, potato salad, and yogurt, not pictured. Oh, and tea! They have tea in Japan, did you know that? Then it was off to our first interview. This one with Yuichiro Funabashi, a Kodo ensemble leader. What you will learn is that Kodo's training is not all about drumming.
Hey everybody, this is Dan Shinder on Drum Talk TV coming to you from Sado Island in Japan. Why are we in Japan? Because there's the most amazing taiko drumming here. And we are here with Yuichiro from Kodo Taiko. How are you?
How are you?
Very well. Thank you for taking time to talk to us. How long have you been drumming taiko?
太鼓はいつから始めたんですか？
太鼓は、大学生の時から始めました。
So he started when he was in college.
Okay. College, so about what age? 19, 18?
何歳ぐらいですか？
20歳
when he was 20.
Okay, great. And what got you interested in taiko drumming? Was it the physicality of it? Was it the musicality of it? Was it the theatrics of it?
太鼓で何が良かったですか？そのミュージックのところとか、その体使うところとか、なんかドラマとか。
太鼓のやっぱり音がすごく自分のこう体に入ってきた時にびっくりして感動した。
So the first time he heard sort of taiko drums, he felt it almost like going into his body, and it was like a really special moment, and that's how he got into it.
I hear that from so many drummers that they tried guitar, they tried piano, maybe saxophone, but when they saw a drummer play drums, whether it was congas or the drum set or the taiko or the murirangam or whatever it was something about that connection with our innate rhythm that we have.
なんかやっぱりよく音楽家はいろいろ試すんですけれども、ドラマー特にいろいろ試して、でも初めてドラマと出会う時にちょっと自分の中のリズムとなんかマッチしてそこでハマることは、よく、見ることがあります。
僕も初めて太鼓を聞いた時にすぐにやりたいって思ったんですよ。
The first time he heard it, he was just like, I need to do that.
Oh, I can relate. As beautiful as the piano is, the oboe, the flute, the bassoon, the guitar, it's different when you feel what you're hearing and seeing connect with your physical body, and only the drums do that.
やっぱりドラムって本当に体に入ることができる。他の楽器も素敵ですけど、その入ることがなんか多分ドラムの区別のところではあります。
そうですね。一つとして同じ音にならない太鼓、日本の太鼓とかっていうのは、でもそのなんか違う音色が合わさった時のエネルギーっていうのがすごく魅力の一つだなと思っていて、
Like each of the drums has their own sound, and when you put the Japanese drums together, like Kodo does, that just becomes a whole different experience.
Yeah, the whole ensemble is like a percussion orchestra.
そう、パーカッションのオーケストラになってます。ドラムのオーケストラになってます。
you like the 2-year apprenticeship experience? Was it what you expected? Was it more work than you expected? Did it require more discipline than you expected? Or was it just fun the whole time?
2年間の修行の時のこう経験どうでした？思ったより難しかったとか楽しかったとか。
今思えば楽しかったけれども。
Now that I think about it, now it was fun.
Good answer.
いい答え。
その当時はとても大変でした。
But of course, at the time, it was really tough.
Very physical. Did you have to do other things to physically get in shape for taiko drumming?
なんか体作りとして他のこともやる必要ありましたか？
僕たちは朝5時に起きて、
So they would get up at 5 in the morning.
でランニング10キロ。
They would run for 10 kilometers.
Nice.
それから、廊下とかは自分たち雑巾でこう掃除して。
And they would then clean the corridors with, cloth by hand.
で畑に行って田んぼお米の作ったりして。
And then would go to the fields where they would then grow and take care of rice.
自分たちで料理をして。
Then cook.
Okay, no, wait. I have to ask. During this time, were you thinking, where's the drumming? When are we going to get to play
でこの
drums?
時にいつドラムやって太鼓できるんですかっ
そ
て。
の後ようやく練習が始まります。
So finally, once that is all done, then the training starts.
Did anyone ever say, I want to go back to cooking?
なんか誰かなんかもう太鼓はいいからなんか料理の方したいなっておっしゃる方いました。
ああ、そういう人もいました。
Oh, yes, there were.
It sounds like the training was very rigorous.
ね、でも体力的な部分はすぐに何ヶ月かすると慣れます。
But it is, but within a few months, like your body gets used to it.
でもずっと同じメンバーと2年間暮らし続けていくっていうことが、そのコミュニケーションのこととか、そういったことがすごくだんだん大変になってきました。
So actually, it's the connections between people actually become one of the harder things because you are living with the same people for 2 years and dealing with them on a daily basis, and so that is one of the challenges.
本当に太鼓が好きなのかっていうこう問われる2年間。
So those 2 years, you understand whether you really, really love taiko or not.
It's like being married to 22 other people, right?
なんか他の何人にと結婚してる感じに近いですかね。
結婚じゃないでも
Not quite.
でもファミリーになります。
But it do become a family.
I was going to ask what percentage of the 2 years is spent on getting in shape and the physical aspect versus the musical technique and learning the instrument. And even though you've partly answered that, how much time is spent on really learning the different taiko drums and the different taiko techniques of hitting and the rudiments versus not just the physical training but understanding the stance with the different drums and things like that?
その2年の中でいろいろなさるんですけど、その中でどのパーセントぐらいが本当太鼓の基本とすべてのなんか叩き方とかスタンスとかに使われるんですか？
半分ぐらい。
About half of the time is spent on the drums.
Would you tell people, youngsters that are interested in becoming taiko drummers and joining a troupe, whether it's Kodo or any other taiko drumming around the world, what they should expect and what is the biggest gratification you get out of it?
もしこれから太鼓やりたい方、もちろんコードだけじゃなくても太鼓のグループに入りたい方、何の 何を覚悟すればいいとか、何が一番その中で、実感になることでしょうか。
やっぱり太鼓が大好きだっていうラブ。
So the love for taiko is of course essential.
それ以外に歌とか踊りとかそういう芸能が大好きだっていうことはとても大事ですね。
And besides just the drum, also singing and other performing arts, having a love for those as well is very important.
So, there you have it. Studying to become a Kodo Taiko member is certainly not just all about learning to play taiko drums. After the interview with Yorichiro-san, it was off to Shukanegi Hall in a village called Shukanegi. The architecture was amazing. I have no words for it, so take a look at the video taken as we walked through. Shukanegi is home to Sengoku Bune, merchant ship and shipbuilders, which is nestled in the back of a cove. Having been a port since the medieval times, Shukanegi went through the prosperous 17th century brought about by the Sado Gensen gold mine and developed as a Kutemabune port of call for the merchant shipping industry. The village is characterized by the crowded rows of over 100 houses built with plate walls made from ship planks, and it has been designated as a National Important Preservation Area for traditional buildings and architecture. Then it was off to Shukanegi Hall to see a performance by Chieko Kojima, a 40-year founding member of Kodo. There's an interview coming later in this film, and she also takes us through every taiko drum instrument Kodo uses in their performances. Takahashi Suda is a modern troubadour who accompanies his singing with the Japanese lute and flamenco guitar. Yoko Kamiyabu, a producer renowned for her distinctive collaboration projects, presents these two artists in an intriguing juxtaposition to portray the epic Dojoji story. This is a truly unique encounter based on an iconic Japanese legend and no play, presented in the realm of taiko, flamenco guitar and rhythms, violin, Arabian tambourine, no chanting, and narration accompanied by Japanese lute. That tambourine player really caught my eye and ears. After the show, we took a real quick ride to a small bay nearby where we enjoyed the Hangiri Taraibune tugboats. Well, I enjoyed it. My wife Enja was a bit freaked out for the most part. The water was crystal clear, and you could see all the way to the bottom, which I believe was about 20 feet or more in some spots. Then we finally arrived at the Earth Celebration Festival at Ogiport Park, Harbor Market. Such a vibrant atmosphere with all the people, food, drink, clothing, jewelry, arts and crafts of all kinds, music and more. And speaking of music, to my shock, there were the folks from Roland Japan showing off prototypes of an electronic taiko drum. What? Well, I'm sure you know what happened next. Yes, I had to try one out, as did Hana Shiraishi, the one with the glasses, who was part of the German international team. The wind was still blowing from a typhoon that had just passed through literally the day before we arrived, so I waited for another day to do the actual interview. This gave me time to preview these wonderful instruments. And here's the interview.
Hey, Dan Shinder here on Drum Talk TV, still at the Earth Celebration Show on Sado Island off the west coast of Japan in the Sea of Japan. I'm here at the Roland Japan booth, which is the counterparts of my buddies over at Roland US. And I'm here with Shigeru, who is, what is your position here with Roland?
I'm a product designer.
Product designer. And we are wearing a brand new product, so new that it's still in the prototype stage, and it doesn't have a name yet, although I just gave them what I think might be a good idea. How long did it take to develop the instrument this far?
これを作るまで、いつかかりました？何年間とか何ヶ月間
2年前か
So
ら
they started from 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
いや、コドさんと一緒にデベロップメントしてま
And they
す。
started developing it with Kodo.
Whoa, so I see the Kodo logo. Okay. And Kodo is the major taiko company here in Japan who we've been covering. We're doing another show tonight, which you'll find. But how many iterations did it take to get to the stage it's at now? Over the 2
何
years?
ドラフト目ですかね？何個目デザインで。
3つ目です
This is the third iteration.
Yeah.
of
That's not bad in 2 years, yeah.
早いですね。
そうですね。で、おそらく最終のモデルです。
This is, they hoped the final version thereof.
The final version. So I'm going to have you first hold the microphone to my mouth so I can move the buttons, and Andrew will do a close-up, and then Shigeru and I will jam. So what's cool about this, if you look at the settings here, if you hit the plus sign, you get different sounds. And while we're playing, Chiara is going to hold the microphone to the speaker, and we hear Kodo in the background. So maybe we'll jam with Kodo. Okay? So I'll stay with this sound. And what is your sound? Maybe you pick a different sound. That was great. These are cool. And this is a sound zone, right? It's active, the rims?
これも、
ここも
音が、
Yes.
響くんですね。
ここも
サウンドゾ
Here.
ーンで。
here.
So depending on the setting, you're able to use this to trigger another sound. Let's see. Oh, wow. Hear that? Sounds like if you could put it to the...
Sure.
Yeah, oh, it's a beautiful instrument. Do you have any idea when you're going to release this and where you're going to release it? Only in Japan?
おそらく来年の夏
So next year during the summer?
Oh, thank
ね
you.
で
Only in Japan?
まずは日本からです
First in Japan.
You let me know when they come to America. Please.
Okay.
I think this will do really good in America and South America. Great. Sigoru, thank you so much. Chiara, thank you so much for translating. And my wife, Angie, be on the camera. And thank you, everybody, for following what we do here on Drum Talk TV here at Earth Celebration at the Roland Japan booth with the mystery taiko with no name yet.
After enjoying the festival for a while, it was time to set up our cameras for the first of 3 nights of performances. When they opened the gates to the spectators' lawn, it was really neat to see everyone spill into the venue, stake their claim, and by the looks of their gear, you could tell that these were avid fans who had this routine down. They had done this before. Each of the 3 nights had a different performance theme. Tonight was Kodo Next Generation. I have to say this again, I have been going to concerts since 1977, and there's absolutely nothing more exhilarating, in my opinion, than seeing Kodo perform live. What a jolt! Enjoy a few more excerpts from the first night, and then I will continue us along for the rest of our adventure. I'd like to start Day 2's coverage of Earth Celebration featuring Kodo with the tour by founding member Chieko Kojima gave us of all the taiko instruments Kodo uses, as well as her interview which delves into the beginnings of Kodo, women in Kodo, and more. I want to introduce our wonderful special guest, Chieko Kojima. How are you?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having us here. You've been with Kodo for 40 years. You're one of the founding members, right?
Yes, そうですね。
Yes, that's very
And
true.
it's your 20th anniversary of you coming up with the dance style of play, correct?
Yes, そうです。
Great.
Yes,
We'll get to that in just a moment. 40 years is longer than most people ever stay with any company in any industry, let alone in music. What has kept you so faithful and so attached to Kodo for 40 years?
この40年間すご
You
い
can speak up,
長いです。この40年間すごい長いです。結構。
はい、そうね。 もう毎日やめたいと思ったのはもうずっと続いていたんですけれども、私はその理想的に鼓動というものが太鼓もあり、歌もあり、踊りもあり、そして男の人も女の人もみんながいて、それがパーフェクトな形だと思ってました。
When I started in Kodo, there were many times that I did want to quit, but I kept on going because I was going for a goal, for this perfect version, or as perfect as possible version of Kodo where men and women go together, and it's not just taiko but also other music, and all of this coming together, and looking towards that goal is what kept me going.
はい。
Were you a musician before you joined Kodo 40 years ago?
No.
No? So what attracted you to taiko and what attracted you to Kodo?
で太鼓と鼓動に、興味を持ったのはなぜでしょうか。
はい、私は若い時に何をしたいかを探してまして。
When I was younger, I was looking for a road, for a way, something that I wanted to do with my life.
はい。
Oh, so it became your sought-out path.
で自分の道になったんです。
そう、アートが大好きだったから自分の生きることをなんか表現したかったんですね。
So she loved art, and so she was looking for some way to express herself.
And 40 years ago, was it not common for women to be part of taiko drumming?
40年前、その女性は太鼓に入ってる、普通でしたか、もうちょっと珍しい。
オンデコ座っていう時代がまずありました。
So before Kodo existed as it does now, there was a group called Ondekoza.
そうですね。私はそのオンデコ座を見て、その時に太鼓がすごくかっこよくて、この太鼓をやりたいと思って入ったところが、オンデコ座は太鼓は男の人だけ、女性は踊りってなってました。
So at that time, she saw Ondekoza perform and just thought the drumming was so amazing. But at that time, the men, it was only men doing drumming, and then women were dancing.
And you changed that, right?
Yeah, はい。変えた？
それで変わりました。
はい。
ご自身が入ってそれで変わりましたか？
はい。オンデコ座自体は踊り手としてすごく頑張って踊りが大好きになったんですね。
By entering Ondekoza at that time and starting to dance, I just fell in love with dance.
その後に鼓動になってからもう世の中にあちこちにも太鼓やる人がいっぱい全世界に増えました。
Since the appearance of Kodo as it is now, around the world, there have been more and more taiko groups appearing.
Yeah.
And more with women?
そう。女の人も一緒に男のように叩いてたの。
And so now there's, yes, women are drumming right along with men.
Came onto the scene 40 years ago, did women slowly kind of seep into the scene, or did it take a while and then it was eventually accepted so women sought it out, or how did that transition happen in a timeline sense?
Okay. 40年前、ちょっと女性と
日本の太鼓は民族芸能としての太鼓は、ほとんどが女性は叩けなかったですね。
So, because taiko comes from folk music, and this was often related to some sacred things as well, women were not basically allowed to play.
Just dance.
Just
right?
Dance, but this is just in general, for like, because it comes from festivals and sacred festivals, and so men were the ones at the drum.
Right. So 40 years later, and I know recently since, when you see young ladies and other women drumming in taiko, in kodo, and you see other women in other taiko troops, how does that make you feel? Do you see yourself in them?
今はもう女性がコドにも入ったり。
そうね、すっごく羨ましくて。
She's very jealous.
Why?
Why? だって前は私は女性をすごく損だ 女性であって本当に損しちゃったなと思った。because 太鼓叩けないから。
Because at the time couldn't play the taiko, she actually felt, oh, it's not great to be a woman because I don't get to play.
だけどみんなもうほとんどが差別なく普通の人は男のように叩いていたんですね。それを見て羨ましいと思ったけど、私はもう一度太鼓を自分の夢、太鼓を叩きたいという夢を子供になってから実現したいと思った時に、その男のスタイルじゃなくってどこにもない女性だよ、女性だしかできない、そういうような太鼓の表現をしたかったの。
そうですね。So there was a change where women started playing as men in the same style, but she felt that she was looking for something else, for a way for women to perform taiko in a way that was unique to women.
I see. And we've seen some amazing young ladies play with Kodo, and now having the honor to meet you and knowing that you carved that way, opened that path for them, it's part of a very long legacy, and I don't just mean in length of time, but the journey of what it took for those women, those young ladies, to be able to play with the men in the same type of presentation and in the same equality of way of playing.
では多いですよ。
Actually, around the world now there's a lot more women doing, actually there's more women maybe even than men doing taiko.
そう。
Well, all because of you.
そうね、
Yeah.
もう勇ましい、もう全部やってるよ。もう同じようにマッチョブーム。
So I was doing the same as the guys.
Yeah. And let's talk about the dance style that you created 20 years ago. What was it that gave you the epiphany to connect the two, to connect your style of dance or create a style of dance to mix in with the taiko drumming?
人生、女性としてのお花を太鼓に咲かせたいなっていう花。
Okay, so through her experiences from thinking that it was perhaps not positive thing to be a woman in the world of taiko, she wanted to sort of grow from that and then show the skill of women and all of her experiences through her performances, so almost like a flower blossoming.
Beautiful. It fits perfectly. Now, what we're going to do, just for the sake of time, is show you an abridged tour of all of Kodo's taiko drums. You can see the full tour in Chieko Kojima's full interview on Drum Talk TV simply by searching Chieko Kojima Drum Talk TV on Google, Facebook, or YouTube. Let's look at some of the instruments in their very restful state. What is the name of this taiko drum?
はい。古道ではこれは平道太鼓と言います。
In Kodo they call this a hirado taiko.
Just amazing drums.
これは昨日のねチャングですね、韓国のチャング。
So this is the Korean chango.
スペシャルに今回使っております。
And this is something we're using specially this time.
このスタイルが日本に昔きっと入ってきたと思うんですけれども。
So it's the tension rope tuning system.
Yes, so this probably this type of chango actually came to Japan long ago, and it's very different from the type we just saw that is stopped with the rivets because it can be tuned and changed with this rope. So these are taiko used for shishi odori, a type of dance.
普通は牛、これは馬です。
Most of them are usually cow leather, but this one is horse. Okay, and this one here is actually a drum that Kodo invented. It has two different kinds of leather on each
And
side
I hear the different
to get the
tones.
different tones.
Yeah, beautiful.
奏でっていう。
And they call it a kanade. So the difference between these is these are done with several different pieces of wood put together.
These here?
Yes, these smaller ones, but this one is kurinuki, which means they've taken the tree as is and hollowed it out.
Yeah.
大体2つの種類がありますね、銅には。
Usually there's two different types of this do. So the one that is hollowed out and the one that is not.
Is it correct that the very large drums are all one piece, correct?
Yes.
That's amazing.
秋。
Let's hear it. So much tone.
Yeah.
It's very, very rigid.
Beautiful, beautiful. Look at the beautiful shell.
This type of keaki drum, really you can't find it in Japan anymore.
Really? How old is some of these drums that are the larger ones? Are they quite old?
This one's about 10 years.
たまたまその木があったんですね。
We're lucky enough to find the tree that they needed to make this kind of
Do we know what kind of wood?
keaki.
Keaki?
神様の木だったりして、もう
So it's very hard to get trees this size because often when they get to this size they are then sacred trees and so you
It's
cannot
hard to cut them down.
you cannot cut them
Hey,
down.
we're gonna make some drums.
ダメだ。
I hope you enjoyed that. It was such an honor. The first thing we did on the second day of the festival was attend the Apprentice Center talk at Marine Plaza, Ogi. This was a group of young men and women currently going through the Kodo Apprenticeship program. It was great to hear their perspective on the process while they were experiencing it. For me, the most impactful takeaway was the sense of belonging they were getting out of it. Especially when one young lady recounted how before coming to Kodo, she was often teased and pretty much bullied about her weight and appearance. Additionally, none of them had ever played drums before. Kodo and Taiko drumming is more than just playing drums. Not that there's anything wrong with just playing drums, quote unquote, but there is so much more to playing Taiko, and the Kodo program in particular teaches so much more. Before leaving, I scored some Earth Celebration and Kodo swag for ourselves and a few gifts, including the young men at the hotel. Next, it was off to lunch at Shimafumi with our entire Jarman International Drum Talk TV team. It was a beautiful setting, the view was amazing, and of course, so was the food. It was slightly sprinkling here and there, but we all agreed that eating outside was the best option due to the view. After the break, it was back to Earth Celebration Festival to interview Japanese-American Kodo member Ryotaro. Once again, the theme of what is involved in becoming a member of Kodo, aside from drumming, was the theme of the conversation. Once again, for the sake of time, the length of this interview has been edited down. However, you can see the full interview by searching Ryotaro Drum Talk TV on Google, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Dan Shinder here on Drum Talk TV at the edge of the Sea of Japan here on Sado Island in Japan, where we're covering the Earth Celebration Festival with the superstars of Taiko in today's world of drumming, which is Kodo, and I'm honored to have Leo here with us. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for taking time. We saw the show last night. Just amazing. How long have you been with Kodo?
This will be my, I want to say 6th year, including my 2 years of apprenticeship.
Wow,
Yes.
let's start with the apprenticeship. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was really tough, and if you ask me if I ever want to go back again, I'd probably say no.
But you're glad you did.
Yeah, I'm really glad I did it, yes.
Was it more physically intense and mentally intense than you ever expected, or did you kind of have a good heads up?
You know, I don't want to use the word hell, but, so it's 2 years in the mountains, no TV, no phones, no internet, no air conditioning. You live in a abandoned school, like 7 years old, and it's below freezing during the winter, and it's super hot. There's bugs everywhere. You wake up at 5 in the morning and you run 10.
Oh, up until there, it sounded like my house.
Yeah, I know, right? So, you know, I grew up in the States, and so everything, a lot of culture shock, but not just for me, for people who like grew up in Japan as well. They're like, why are we waking up at 5 in the morning, running so much?
To play drums!
To play drums, you know, and then you the rest of the day you're playing drums the whole day, but we also make our own rice. We harvest everything. It's just crazy 2 years of experience. It was really tough, but I'm really glad I did it.
Oh, that's awesome. It's a lot like military training, and if you've ever seen taiko drumming, you know it's even more physical than the most rock drumming, heavy metal drumming, and that's why there's such rigorous training, not just physically, but mentally as well. You got to have the discipline, right? And you've got to learn, not that people come in disrespectful, but you learn to be a family member and everything. So what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite taiko drum?
I would say the big drum.
The one that's on a stand where there's two
Yes,
ends?
yes, exactly.
Okay, great.
Yeah. That's my favorite. Yeah.
What is it about taiko drumming that you like the most? Is it the physicality of it? Is the different musicality? Especially with Kodo, they use a lot of different musical influences from different cultures, different time periods. You got spoken word rap going on and stuff from, I believe, Greece, perhaps, and different cultures. But what's your favorite aspect of it?
That's a really difficult question, but I would say that it's kind of free. You know, you can do anything with it. There is some tradition to it, but taiko as a performing art is relatively new. I would say it started maybe 50 years ago. And you know, like you said, we have so many different elements from so many different cultures incorporated in what we do.
And that's Kodo. That's not traditional.
That's
taiko.
not traditional. That's what we do, and that's what we strive to do. You know, everyone gets to enjoy it.
Yeah.
This whole
Everyone loves drums.
This community building kind of gravity that taiko has. You know, that's the most kind of rewarding part of this profession.
That's awesome. I find it quite interesting when people say, I don't have rhythm. We all have rhythm, and it's ticking in your chest, and it's helping you breathe, and I think it's a matter of being aware of it or not, and waking up to it or not. You know, sometimes different people come from a culture or a lifestyle where they live, where they grew up, with their influences or non-influences that they just haven't really discovered that they have rhythm yet. But I think we all have it.
Yeah, we all do. You know, part of the name Kodo comes from the word kodo, which means heartbeat in Japanese. And the sound of the big drum is said to be similar to the sound of the heartbeat of our mothers when we're in our mother's womb. So it's something that we know instinctively. And I think that's why, you know, everyone can relate to it. You know, everyone has that shared memory of this beat.
Yeah. Oh, that's very well articulated. I think one of the things that fascinated me the most last night was a lot of people don't think of drums as being musical, but not only is taiko very musical, not only is Kodo very musical, but even when we filmed earlier today, the apprenticeship group, how well orchestrated the music is, and it's all percussion other than the flutes. And I hear they use flutes as sticks on the small taikos, right?
Oh, no. Nope, not at all.
I was trying to work them into being a percussion instrument.
No. But like you said, you know, I really appreciate you saying that we're very musical, because that's as one of the directors, that's what I really care about, being musical. We don't want to be just folk arts, you know, just something like a cultural thing. We don't want to be completely entertainment, you know, like flashy.
Right.
We want to be a performing group that is musical. We want to be musicians. We want to be artists. That's something I really care about. So all the beats, all the notes, everything that we play has to make sense. If you're, you know, even if you're not watching, you know, you can close your eyes and enjoy it. That's one of the most important things I think about when I'm directing. And I think that's one of the strengths, the biggest strength of Kodo, is that we are truly musicians, not just...
Yeah, absolutely. You know, everyone learns how to play the flute, right?
Yes.
And sing.
Yeah.
And there's another instrument you all learn to play, isn't there? A stringed instrument? No?
We all don't learn it, but we can play the shamisen.
Yeah.
I played the It's a very rare instrument called kokyu, which is the Japanese fiddle. Very,
Oh, yeah.
very similar to the Chinese erhu. I'm probably one of the only people who plays it in the group.
Wow.
Everyone can play the flute. Everyone knows how to sing. Everyone can dance. So yeah, we can do a lot.
Hey, thanks for taking
thank you
time
so
so
much.
much, Leo.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for following us on Drum Talk TV.
Mid-afternoon, we went on another getaway, this one to Hokositsu Sake Brewery for a tour and tasting. I could not believe the variety of sake they have, and being that I was driving, I wasn't going to have any. I was going to let Enja enjoy it, and she did. But they had a non-alcoholic brew. I could not believe how smooth and sweet it was. We got one of those and a couple other bottles. One actually made it home with us. Founded in 1871 by the Hazu family, Hokusetsu is made exclusively on the island of Sado. The remote location is known for its harsh winters, ideal for sake, which is brewed on the coldest days of the year. The sleek, dry, and smooth sake that comes out of this brewery truly embodies the meaning of Hokusetsu's name, Northern Snow. Later that evening, it was back to Earth Celebration Festival for night 2 of performances. This time, Kodo was joined by the South Korean taiko troupe Samul Nori, led by Kim Duk-soo. They brought a whole different element of music and dance to the concert. They made a grand entrance to the arena by entering from behind the audience and parading to the stage while playing.
치어다보니 고도가 32年目 알스 셀레브레이션이라네. 내려 구보보니 오꽃이 구다사이 마시다. 전국구노 미나사마. 한박시 봉박시 원초당 군초당 금일청정 대도라네.
together on stage to collaborate, it was pure magic. Wow, what a way to end the night. I was exhausted. I found myself singing along even though I didn't know what I was singing. This is something you must experience. I can't tell you how proud I was to be a drummer, how proud I was to be part of that community, and how honored I was that we were there to experience this, let alone film it and make this documentary. Just amazing. And there's a whole other day of this. Wow, just amazing. The next day, we all had a great lunch together at Yoshikawaya at the Hands-On Learning Center at Shikanegi Village. I was so hungry and we were so sociable together, I forgot to take photos, but here's a few from their website. It was a great meal and a beautiful setting back at that village. We spent part of the last day of the festival seeing some performances at the Kasaki Shrine Fringe Festival stage. Here are some clips and then a little surprise.
Hey, how's it going? Dan Shinder here on Drum Talk TV in Sado, Japan, in the Sea of Japan, here for the Earth Celebration Festival, which includes a lot of taiko drumming. You can hear some in the background, one of the Fringe concerts, and we're here at the Kisaki Shrine. Follow me, let's check it out. Let's go inside. Come on, keep up. Let's go, folks. All right, you're coming along. Let's check these guys out. So one's got like a percussion rig of taiko, and another one has more traditional, like Latin percussion stuff. Let's check them out. Oh, it's a young lady playing. Yeah. Beautiful.
There was was a talented assortment of ensembles performing of all ages, playing many different types of percussion instruments. And then, lo and behold, there they were. The ones from Cheto-san's performance at Shukanegi Hall, the troubadour on guitar, the amazing violin player, the producer on palms, and him, that guy, the incredible frame drum player on the Arabian tambourine. To see them in this element and this close up. They did this wonderful rendition of Let It Be by the Flash in the Pan band, the Beatles.
Susurra dulcemente, let it be. Cuando todo lo que sufren de una vez se junte para vivir, será una respuesta, let it be. Y aunque quieren separamos, sabes, juntos vamos sobrevivir. Será una respuesta, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Susurra dulcemente, let it be, let it be.
Then, as they were getting off stage, Kiara and I approached Ryosuke, the percussionist, and asked him for an interview. He agreed.
Hey everybody, Dan Shinder here on Drum Talk TV, continuing our coverage here at the Earth Celebration Festival, which features a lot of taiko drumming, but we're at one of the Fringe events right now, which features an amazing flamenco-based quartet that's just incredible. And we're here with the percussionists, the leader of the band, of course. Just kidding. Uruski, yeah?
Yes.
And he has an Arabian tambourine. First of all, you get so many sounds out of the Arabian tambourine. I hear darbuka, I hear a doumbek,
yes,
I hear a tambourine, I hear tablas, congos, bongos, out of this one instrument. What got you interested in the Arabian tambourine?
もともとドラムセットを叩いてたんですけど、
So he used to play drums, like
Okay.
drum set drums.
で腰を痛めてしまいまして、
But then he hurt his hip,
back.
back area. Yeah.
Okay. So you picked up the Arabian tambourine.
Yes.
Okay. And do you play other hand drums? You have the finger work that I see a lot, like on darbuka or doumbek.
他のドラムも弾いたりします。
それなりには。
おっしゃってまして。
そうです。いろんな楽器の技術をこのタンバリンに生かしてまして。
So he's using the technique for many different types of drums on the tambourine.
例えばドラムセットの手足のコンビネーションなんかをこの楽器に。
So, including like in the drum set where you use both a combination of your legs and your arms, he's also using it when doing the tambourine.
Could you give us a demonstration?
面白いです。
Watch this. This is amazing. Watch the finger work. Wow, this is so many amazing sounds and the speed.
Once again, we showed an abridged version of this interview for the sake of time. To see it in its entirety, please search Ryosuke Ohishi Drum Talk TV on Google, Facebook, or YouTube. And the big finale performance evening of Earth Celebration Festival featuring Kodo Taiko 2019 begins. This is truly the culmination of the experience, with most of the performance by the Kodo All-Stars, the most seasoned veterans of the organization, with an extra special something toward the end. Everything we heard about in the interviews, the different aspects of the music, the different instruments they play, from drums to stringed instruments to flutes and singing, all the drums we saw in their restful state Chioka-san showed us at the training center, all of that comes together in this evening's performance. We now present to you excerpts of this amazing performance. If you follow the hashtags, you will see even more pieces of these 3 nights' performances emerge. Here we go. Enjoy. And now for the grand finale. Stick around through this. You do not want to miss it. I personally have so many takeaways from this experience. For one, the dedication is boundless of those who go through the Apprentice program and graduate into Kodo performers. Another is that this is the best drumming event I have ever seen, let alone one of, if not, the best concert I have ever been to since my first in 1977. The stories of their journeys, the music, the musicianship, the live presentation, everything was absolutely amazing. But the best part of Kodo is the people. If you ever get the chance to see them in person, do not miss the opportunity to be electrified like never before. I'm Dan Shinder of Drum Talk TV. Thanks for watching.
今年も楽しんでいただけましたでしょうか。ありがとうございます。今年はちょっと台風が来るという心配もありまして、かなり心配しておったんですが、そして少しいくつかの